Welcome to the Winning Sometimes Show, the show where Clint, Matt, and I talk about tech and games and never fail to mention either coffee, Monster Hunter, or the UI of the game. Now that we've met our quota of required topics, let's go ahead and talk about some of the best games we use to take a break from reality and put ourselves in a completely different world. Playing is a huge part of life, whether it's simple card games, dominoes, chess. It's great to have a diversion that allows us to not think about the stressors in our lives from time to time. We're all very privileged to be able to have a lot of comforts in life we can indulge our playtime in a technologically involved way. So what games or genres do we dive into when we want to break from our day-to-day? How about you, Matt? Which games do you play?
So I play, obviously we all play a ton of games, but if we're talking about stuff where I want to kind of get rid of reality, that would be awesome. But if I want to kind of take a break from reality and just be someone completely different, and this may be a little like, I know you were talking about technology and everything like that, because that's kind of what we deal with. This is a little less on the technology side, but D&D. Obviously, with the past year and everything like that, Dungeons and Dragons, for those of you who are not as big a nerds as I am. With the past year and everything like that, I've been able to continue playing my Dungeons and Dragons games, even though I can't actually go see people anymore. So that's actually been a huge transition, and I am super thankful that like the internet exists. Like, I can't imagine what this past year would have been like if I didn't have the internet and that ability to continue playing games and things like that over the past year.
I have not thought about that possibility that we could have done this past year without the internet. Whoops.
Yeah, but we're taking a break from reality during this show, Clint. So let's not, let's not think about even worse realities that might be out there.
Sounds good.
But so I think we've mentioned this. I don't know if we've mentioned it on the show before, but neither one of y'all have played any sort of like D&D type game, like actual tabletop game, not a
That is incorrect.
Oh, you have?
I have.
Oh,
I think
awesome.
it's just me.
Yeah, you haven't. In high school, we did Dungeons and Dragons and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And in college, actually, I found a group there where we did the White Wolf games, Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf. And then when I was working on the East Coast, I found a group there we played Dungeons and Dragons, like classic D&D there.
Okay, awesome.
So I have played. And then when I was younger in middle school with some buddies, we played. Oh gosh, there was a like a post-apocalyptic like world where you're like mercenaries, and
Cyberpunk.
What was it called? No, it wasn't Cyberpunk. it was like straight up military. There were tanks. You had to find gas to for vehicles.
It sounds like StarCraft is what it sounded like.
Well, but it was like
yeah.
I forgot what the name of it was though. Shoot, I'll think about it and
yeah.
I'll try to find it.
There's so many tabletop games out there, like, and it have, especially over the past like, God, when did the first D&D come out? Like the 70s or something like that.
70s. Gary Gygax. And,
yeah.
Shoot, who's the other guy? Anyway, I forget the names. I'm so bad.
Yeah, but there's just so many things that have spawned off of that, and you may have a different opinion of it or whatever, but personally for me, like, don't get me wrong, I love me some first person shooters. I love me some like real time strategies, Final Fantasies, stuff like that. Those I enjoy video games a lot. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about being able to just like be and act out like in your own voice and things like that, being another person, like that is freaking so much fun for me to actually do. So and I've talked about this in the Discord before. I don't know how much y'all have seen about it, but over the summer, fall, winter, the past actually like the past year, everything blurs together.
It's been a year, pretty much.
Yeah.
March will be a year.
It's been like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and the DM allowed me to play a class called a murder hobo. It's not like, for those of you who have played role-playing games before, like murder hobo is kind of the joke. It's like, oh yeah, everyone just doesn't have a job and is able to like, doesn't have a family. They could just leave and go on an adventure and murder all sorts of people for like treasure. There's no rhyme or reason to it, no matter how hard you try. Everyone's just a murder hobo. But this was a mechanical murder hobo. Someone had written up an actual like class where like at first level you get certain abilities, and they're all just ridiculous. Like you got to choose your type of murder hobo. And I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but I chose dipsomania, whatever. It's basically alcoholism was my type of murder hobo. And so I basically got to roleplay a drunken guy who kept lots of things in his pocket, like little scraps of food and things like that, and thought he was really charismatic, but was absolutely not. And so he constantly got the party in trouble for stuff. And it was just so much fun. Like, so it was just an absolute blast.
Charisma checks, like, as a part of your character. So you have to, like, default, okay, I have to do this many, and then it's obviously a charisma's bad, so it's going to fail, and then, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of that because, you know, whenever the party would get in a situation where they had to talk to people, this guy thought he was, like, super charismatic. He's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. And so it gave other people a chance to be like, oh, don't let this guy talk. No, don't let him talk. Or to be like, all right, let's see what happens. And, like probably, and I don't want to like dominate this, but like one of the more fun stories is that we had come upon this cult. It was the cult of Asmodeus, right? And we infiltrated it by basically accidentally stumbling into one of their meetings. And so naturally, my character's name was Grog, because of course it was. He stumbles into this meeting, realizes what's going on, and tries to convince everybody else they're from the cult, like one town over or whatever. And somehow he miraculously passes this and convinces the entire cult that they're part of the cult. But then later he fails some other check. And so he just has to start stabbing people around him because they suspect him of being like a traitor. So he gets like all these surprise attacks because people are like, oh my God, this guy who was one of us, like tricked us and everything. And it completely, totally screwed up the GM's like game. He had no idea where to go with it at that point. He's like, this was not supposed to happen. But I had a blast, and I mean, he did too. Once he kind of got things back on track. But just stuff like that, like those sort of possibilities, are really hard, if not impossible, to do like in a video game. And that's why, if I want to escape reality, it's a Dungeons and Dragons, the Pathfinders. It's something like that I really want to play.
Wait. So I have two questions. Have you ever LARPed? Which live action role playing, by the way. That's what LARPing is. Yes.
I know what LARP is. I have not LARPed. Okay, and actually, yeah, I haven't LARPed. So what's your second question? Because I'm kind of curious what that is.
Well, it's kind of like a side question. Do you read a comic called Knights of the Dinner Table? By any chance?
I do not. That sounds
check it out. It's
right up my alley, though.
The art's kind of sketchy, but it's about like a group of players, the DM and his crew that play role playing games, and how they're always trying to screw each other, kind of. And it's funny. It has a lot of that D&D humor, which I think is hilarious. So yeah, you should check it out. I have a bunch of back issues that I've collected. I've kind of stopped collecting them at this point.
Okay.
But it's like as a little segue. One of the characters, Brian, in it is a min-maxer. He loves min-maxing, trying to get as much as he can. And at one point, he has a girlfriend, but everyone realizes that it's a fake girlfriend. So they're trying to get him to admit that he has a fake girlfriend. They're doing an intervention. There's this whole like series of things that happen with the group trying to get him to realize he doesn't have a real girlfriend, kind of thing. It's funny. More funny than I'm describing it, but you should check it out. Yeah.
No, it sounds great. Like there's actually, and I'm not going to remember the name, but there's a movie that has, oh my gosh, Dinkelbot. What's his name? Peter
Knights
Dinklage.
of Badassdom.
Yes, Knights of Badassdom. Same sort of thread where it's a bunch of LARPers who go out and accidentally stumble upon real magic and get
Peter
thrown
Dinklage.
into a real. What's that?
Peter Dinklage.
Yes, Peter Dinklage. Yeah, Dinklebot.
Yeah. Sorry. So
most people probably know him as Tyrion Lannister. I know him as Dinklebot.
Yeah, me too.
Dinklebot.
Dinklebot.
I liked that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like the last half or the last third. The first 2/3 are amazing. The last third, I didn't like it. I don't know, but I would recommend watching it. It's good.
Yeah, I mean it's hilarious. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of build up, and then the payoff is kind of meh. But I mean, it's very much so a B movie. So really, I got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah.
So, Emiliano, what you said that you played when you were younger. What was your experience kind of with role playing games? Did you get the same escapism or anything like that, or was yours just completely different?
Yeah, I got that escapism, and well, I'm older than you guys. So back then there wasn't an internet. We had AOL and dial-up, and BBS boards. There wasn't what it is today.
That's still the internet.
Well, but I mean, back then, local calls weren't free, so you got charged for however long you were on the call.
You just got to make your your IRC channel.
I remember.
Yeah, well, so a bunch of us would get together and play, and we had one guy that was a DM, really smart guy, and he actually got us into Magic the Gathering on the beta. So I think my mom threw them out at this point, but I had a bunch of the black border cards from the beta, which I guess
I still have them.
I don't know. I need to look. I swear she threw them out, but we were into that, and it was funny too because at the time we didn't understand the game, so when we played Magic the Gathering, we had a stack about a foot, 2 feet high of cards that we would shuffle trying to get to good ones and stuff. Because we didn't know a 40 card deck. No. We had a 100 card deck, and we would hope we would get ones that we would want. We didn't realize about having a smaller deck in order to get the cards you want more quicker. But
now you play it like Yu-Gi-Oh, where there wasn't a deck limit.
Oh gosh, Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh. But I mean, really for me it was, a bunch of us hanging out as friends and, playing, and it was an excuse for us to get together. We have sleepovers to do that too. But at the time, there was a group of us, a core group of us, that did it. I feel like the only other time that I kind of went out of a group of friends was when I was living in DC, and I found these guys. How did I find them? I think I found it on a board somewhere saying, "Do you want to play Dungeons and Dragons? Take one of these little tickets and call," or something like that. And I did. I didn't get killed, thankfully. I didn't think about that. Who knows? It could have been a murder cult looking for.
I mean, it wasn't Craigslist, so you're probably okay.
No, it was a message board in a coffee shop saying looking for a D&D player or something like that. So, but yeah, that I enjoyed it. We should do a winning sometimes D&D game.
We really should.
With you as the DM.
I actually know someone that would DM
Clint
for us.
as the dwarf, and I will be an elf. It'll be great.
I'm a battle mage, so I'd probably be human/elf.
I don't think battle mage is the mechanical class.
I mean, again, so I haven't played D&D. I haven't played table. Never had a group of friends that was super into it, and the few times that I had invites, it was never got off the ground. So it's not something I've ever engaged with. I've heard that it could be fun, and I've kind of when you guys describe the sessions that you've had, that's really cool, and that would be really fun. But it's not that's not my primary fun leisure time activity. So yeah.
So what is your primary escapism?
I knew that was gonna happen. I mean, my thing is video games, like through and through. I mean, as I've always played video games in any way I can. So, it's now a pretty big part of my stress relief cycle. Um, so yeah, I mean, I enjoy narrative games, but I also enjoy. I mean, I've played between Destiny 1 and 2, probably 3,000 hours. Um, yeah, I mean, if there's a game where I can have a goal, and whether that's goal like learn about more of the stories, learn about characters, or it's just a hey, go get this gun so I can shoot people better. Um, I can dig into that, and I think the quality of it depends on like I'm not really into like turn your brain off stuff. Like my brain is always on, so um, I play Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I gotta have a YouTube video on the background because like that game is very fun and there's a lot of ambiance, but there's still like this part of my brain that wants to be active. But yeah, I guess I don't need to escape reality as much as focus on something that isn't a source of stress. So, and I
So
get maybe
basically, as long as you have like, I don't know, this may not be a great way to put it, but like a distraction from like work and things like that, something to occupy your mind.
in a way that I want to. Yeah, it's like I've slowly started to dig into hobbies, stuff like that, over the last couple of years or more. And so sometimes I don't know. I'm probably thinking about some of this for the first time. So, like, if there's enough of feelings of productivity when I'm doing hobbies and stuff like that, then that's it's a distraction. But if there's too many unanswered questions, or like I find more things that I want to do than I actually complete, then that can be stressful too. I love music, and I've been trying to break into music making for a long time, but like music making is the kind of thing for me that I can't stick to it on a regular schedule to practice for whatever reason. Maybe it's just laziness or whatever. But so whenever I do engage into it, there's always more things. So it's like a source of stress, but also gratification. When I can finally finish something, then it's like, I don't know, I go through these cycles of hating it and loving it, and hating it and loving it. Like I have 3 songs on SoundCloud, and they're wildly different, and I hate them and I love them at the same time. And I have 1,800 like half-started songs, and every time I go, like there'll be sessions where I work on it, and I just hop from song to song. Oh, close that project, open this project, do a little bit of stuff, close that project, because it's like so stressful. Because I'm not good at it yet. I don't know. But yeah, video games are that one thing that I can always return to, and just plug in, focus on something, be good at it, and whether it's Minecraft, where I want to kill the Ender Dragon, or I want to build this penthouse, or I want to, you can set your own goals. I can set my own goals, whether the game has given them to me or I made them up myself. I can sink a lot of time into games.
That's interesting.
But wait, did I know that you had 3 songs on SoundCloud? I don't think I knew that.
I think you did.
We talked about it. You definitely did. We talked about it. Yeah,
we did. Okay,
before last episode. Yeah,
I'm gonna find these links because I don't think I've listened to them, and
I'll send them
to like to hear.
They're good. We'll have to. I know Clint won't want us to, but we'll definitely have to link out his SoundCloud songs in the descriptions and things like that, so people can find them.
Yeah.
Well, I put them on SoundCloud so people wouldn't find them.
What?
But I can share with my friends. Because you don't get a following on SoundCloud. Like, I don't know.
Well, I know, but people are curious. They want to hear your wildly different songs.
I want to hear.
See, I told you.
Stress.
I actually used one. I don't know if you remember this, Ronan, where I made a video about just a video of me making coffee for no apparent reason, mostly just because I got bored, and actually used one of Clint's songs in the background of it.
Oh, see, I saw the video, but I had the music off, so
I see.
I'm gonna find that.
Who watches videos with music off?
Well, I'm in a very strange situation where a lot of times I can't do music or audio when I'm like trying to do stuff because of kids or
For
just,
sure. I'm kidding.
You
should probably listen to make sure that your kids aren't like touching hot stove or slamming their fingers in a door or something.
Yeah. Well, really, it's are they yelling or are they fighting? That's what I'm listening for. But yeah, I want to listen to this music. I'm intrigued now. So.
Okay, well, send it to you, and thanks, No Face.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for, right?
Positivity police.
So that's. Sorry, I just want to ask a real quick question about that because I think something just clicked for me. You're very much so a progress-oriented gamer kind of person. And so I have a question, and this may be bringing up bad memories, but your Cuphead experience. Back when you were playing Cuphead, you just talked about like things being stressful. And I know you talked about that being frustrating like years ago when you played it. Do you not get the same sort of stress from like being unable, like just being trial and error kind of thing during a game, or is it just different from like how is that different from like your music making stress? I guess I don't know.
Well, a game is something that is an experience that somebody's created for you to go through. So it is a finite experience, right? It's a discrete experience that has beginning and end usually, or it has a set pace. If it's a service game. Games as service or something. So like frustrating things, I mean, I'd have to think about that more. I've thought about it a lot, but with Cuphead specifically, it's like the mechanics are unfair. And when there's RNG in, Cuphead specifically doesn't have RNG because the patterns are very established. I mean, after the fact, after everyone did their analysis on it, and like it's just a very unforgiving game. There's so much you can do wrong in the game. It's not set up for people to complete without being skilled.
So it's like a shmup then?
No, it's a platforming side scroller.
Okay, because I know shmups have that same bullet pattern and unforgivingness. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Shmup?
Shoot 'em up. It's the scrolling top down. It's 2D. You're looking at like a plane Contra? Or something, and you're shooting upwards.
Like
and enemies come downwards.
Yeah. But it can also go sideways. It can also go sideways too.
Oh, is that shmup?
Shmups, yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's the bullet patterns.
I'll Google it later.
I think it's the bullet patterns and like the set. Dodging and stuff. Anyway,
I never put two and two together with shoot 'em ups that they would be a set pattern. Yeah. Never did.
Well, shmup specifically, like they have like those set patterns, like with the bosses, where they'll like throw a spread of bullets that you've got to dodge in order to get through and to attack. And anyway, sorry.
But so what was I saying? When the mechanics are unfair, and it wastes your time. I mean, I don't have all the time in the world to play a game, and so that frustrates me, and that's like one of the things that will get me to quit a game. But I do enjoy, I guess part of my enjoyment is I like change in general, and I like learning things. Like learning is one of my core parts of my personality. I feel like if there is something that I set my mind to, I will, whether it's healthy for me or not, conquer that thing. It may not be possible, but try telling my brain that. So with games, it's like I like new games, I like new mechanics, I like trying new things. So there's that contradiction between well, I'm good at this game. Like I should be good at this game, right? Like I'm that arrogant that I think that I can be good at any game. But what I'm seeing on the screen is that I'm not good at the game because I keep failing. And it's like failure is a very, I guess, time wasting failure is a very old school game punishment. Like, games used to be, because of the arcade style of design, like your failure is time wasted, so that you have to put more quarters in so that you will, and that design flowed into the early console generations like NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, all of those games that are notorious for being very difficult. That's kind of written itself into my genes, where I hate that. I hate wasting time. So I've forgotten the question, but
no, I mean you've basically like this is my understanding of your answer, is that games for you are not stressful like music making, and this is the way I'm understanding your answer, is because it's not on you to create the experience. You are going through the experience, and even though there may be frustrating aspects of it, you are still like, this is how I'm understanding, you're a participant in it rather than necessarily like the creator and maker of an experience.
Sure.
I mean, that's me reading between the lines a little bit.
And and it's essentially, I think what I am saying is that I can demonstrate skill at learning and taking on the challenge set by a video game. And that is gratifying. Whereas music is like, the
end goal is kind of amorphous.
Yeah, every decision. There are so many micro decisions in making music, and micro competencies. Like, I'm a one man stack, but if you go into the music industry and you have money, you can go come up with a tune. You go get a producer, and then the producer does all of the music playing, right? And then you go through and you can build that stuff, together, and you have potentially a team behind you producing that music. And I'm doing all of that. So like on that, and then there's imposter syndrome, where I highly doubt my own musical ability. I mean, I have over 10 years of training in music, but that was when I was a kid and like up until college, basically. And it's, I mean, I have friends who are also musicians who are helping me understand some of that, because I am pretty insular on that. Like I am kind of antisocial, so learning is a little bit slower for me around there, because I just want to feel it. I just want to go up to an instrument or a DAW, a digital audio workstation, and put something in, and like I can whistle or hum or tap like an entire thing, and I just want to make that into music, and that may not be possible. I mean, there's probably a bunch of extra steps that I have to get good at before I can do something like that.
Are you really good at whistling?
People are better, but some people are better. But I can hold a good tune.
I think we're gonna need a demonstration. Just saying.
No, I don't have the mic for it.
Yeah, I don't know how whistling would pop up or would pick up on a mic.
Actually, this mic is for recording music, so it's probably actually the mic for it. But
so I've speaking of like stressors and stuff, and then going off of Crack's music, we as a family here, me, my wife, and our two boys, we recently started playing Rock Band again. I don't like. What do you think of those games or music as games, as opposed to, like, it's not really creating, but there's the singing, the drums, and the guitar and the bass. And I don't know, we're having a blast, and I'm finding songs, and they're $2 songs, and it's been great. So if you want, let's form a band, because we can play online together. Get the.
I don't have.
Is it really online play?
Yes, there's cooperative play, and you can make it like a band. I will say with Rock Band, the drums are a very good approximation of playing actual drums. The guitars, no, because it's just like it's a little clicky paddle thing and then buttons that you're pushing.
It's
But
hand-eye
the
coordination,
drums,
which the guitar in real life is so much more than that.
yes,
You have
yes,
to have a sense of rhythm to do Rock Band drums for
yeah,
sure.
yes, because you're actually you're actually doing like the I don't know the terminology, but you're tapping on one and then do boop
You're
doop doop
drumming.
boop boop boop. Yeah, you're actually drumming. I feel like the drumming is the closest approximation to the actual thing.
They have MIDI drums that you could take what you're doing and just play those, hook them up to Ableton Live or something, and
I
do something
have a
similar.
pair of MIDI drums that I
Oh, do
do
you?
that on occasion. Yeah. But just for
Oh,
the game. I mean, it's just the game because, like it has
well, I've
the
been
three.
duped.
I got the
You're already on the up
the
and up.
cymbals. The cymbals they're up here. So, yeah, a rock
Yeah.
band drumming. It's hard. Like you get. I'm sweating afterwards because you're just, especially on some of the harder songs. But
That stuff is great.
So it is like games like that kind of your, I don't want to say escapism, release, de-stressor kind of deal, or what is it for you, Ronan?
I feel like Rock Band is more of a recent thing because I feel like we're trying to get, want to get the kids involved. But yeah, ever since COVID, I loved really hard games. Demon Souls, Monster Hunter, those games where you spend an hour on a boss and you could still fail, right? I love that because once you beat that boss, that feeling that you get after the win is just it's a really good feeling. Like I said, the endorphin rush, whatever. Since COVID started, I that stress is too stressful now for me. Like Crack speaking about his issues with making music and even Cuphead. Um, I I've gone the route where
I beat Cuphead, by the way. Just
yeah,
putting that out there.
but wasn't that a great feeling when you finally beat it? You're like, oh, F you game, yes.
It wasn't at the time, but now I only remember the good things, and so
yeah,
I feel good about it.
So yeah, I can't play Monster Hunter because I can't spend that hour with my shoulders tense trying to beat the boss or Demon Soul because I get too tensed, and at this point I don't want tense. I can't do it. I can't do it. So Destiny is nice because there's no stress. Although I can't do PvP.
Wait. We just glossed over something.
What did I say?
Earth-shattering. You don't play Monster Hunter anymore?
I can't. It's too much. Well, okay. Right now, the only monsters left for me in Monster Hunter are like the super hard monsters.
Oh, okay. Like end game, past being the game.
Yes. Okay. And I still have to grind to get some end game gear in Monster Hunter in order to fight them. Like my weapons don't heal on hit, and you kind of need that when fighting these guys because they have like auras that damage you if you're close to them. So anyway, so I just haven't because it's too stressful. Like I tried a couple times, it took me like an hour, and I died. I can't do it anymore. So Destiny 2.
There's no way to casually play Monster Hunter World. Like there's just not.
No, I mean that's why, like I said, I'll play with No because I know he's on the low level, and that's fun for me.
No, I'm like significantly lower than Ronan for sure.
Yeah, but so Destiny 2. Actually, I find that I'm doing a lot of mobile games right now because they're quick, they're easy. I can have the volume off. So like right now, my rotation is Lego Tower because it's easy. There's this game called Sino Alice that I just got into because of Yoko Taro, the guy who made Nier Automata. He's kind of like I guess he's done a lot of work with this, and when he first started off, they had a Nier Automata like collaboration, and I'm actually in a guild in that game, and we do like PvP battles every day at noon. It's fun. It's easy.
This is a mobile game?
Yes, mobile game. Sino Alice. I started doing Genshin Impact again because it's fun and
it's a big update.
It's easy. Yeah. The new big update and stuff for that too. The gacha mechanics are kind of if you're not lucky with your pulls, it can be kind of a drag. But like the world is so well realized, the story is actually good and actually there. Like you don't have to go read it in some lore cards. You actually play through it. So yeah, I've done a lot. I'm doing more mobile stuff at this point just because it's easy. I can just kind of, like you said, like you don't want to do brainless stuff. For me, like that's kind of what I want right now. Just kind of nice thing where I can just relax, kind of tune out a little bit, and just, just rest, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with like these stressful games. I'm not doing the super hard one just because it's just I don't know. I don't need that in my life right now.
I get that.
But you're saying like in the past that was really what you were into was
oh yeah,
Dark Souls, Demon Souls, that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah, like those really hard games. Yeah, because like Monster Hunter isn't really Demon Souls, but there's a level of difficulty when you fight a boss. Because I guess it's like Demon Souls where you have to, get, their move sets down, know when to dodge, know when to block, know when to attack.
There's so much writing on it. I mean, you do so much preparation,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, because I stopped playing Monster Hunter, but there's so much preparation and research involved. And with Demon Souls, it's like you lose your soul. That's the stakes, and it can be really hard to get that back, or you lose it. But with Monster Hunter, it's like you could. I guess what do you lose? What are the stakes with Monster Hunter?
Well,
it depends what weapon you're running. Well, an hour.
If you're in a mission to fight a monster, you have most of them only give you 3 lives and an hour to finish it. So if the time runs out or you die more than 3 times, then the mission ends, and you get some items, but you don't get the stuff you need. So like you need to defeat the monster to get the materials. Well,
I am never playing Monster Hunter. If I lost an hour, that's enough to make me stop playing a game for a week. Sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, you're learning.
They would get you.
You're learning in that hour.
Yeah,
sorry, Matt.
Well, I was just gonna say that you will know. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to beating it. And there's a little clock up in the corner that keeps time for you, and you're watching it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to beating it, and you'll be about to land the final blow that you know is going to kill it, and all of a sudden your time expires.
Yeah.
And try again.
Yeah.
Sorry. Try again another day.
But I don't know, for me, like, Monster Hunter and Demon Souls, those games I consider games where you learn from your failures. The more you fight, the more you fail, the more you get comfortable, the more you get to know, the boss and the moves. So like, I don't know, I guess I used to like those kinds of games, those games by failure, where, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, until you can finally win. But not so much anymore, It's just, I don't know, the world's a different place. And, yeah. Like Dungeons and Dragons sounds fun, Monster Hunter right now, like Monster Hunter Rise though looks pretty fun. Crack.
I was gonna
Nintendo
say
Nintendo Switch.
Still don't think it's for me, but I'm happy for you.
So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now with gaming, like mobile games. I've been reduced to mobile gaming, so.
Well, no, I wouldn't phrase it like that. Like
even Clash of Clans, like there's plenty of enjoyment, and the whole guild thing. Like I still treat mobile gaming like it's stupid tower defense games, and shovelware. It's like the fact that you can have social experiences on mobile games nowadays. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are a lot of like classic games that they've released on mobile too, like Final Fantasy, all the Final Fantasy games 1 through 7. No, 1 through 7. I think 9 might be on there too, or on mobile. Yeah, but the old ones, not any of the new ones. You know what? They have the new Final Fantasy, the one that just came out, with the road trip guys.
15.
Yes, they released that on mobile, but the version on mobile has them all as chibi characters. So it looks like cutesy art, but it's the whole game. the same fighting and everything like that too
What?
on mobile. Yeah, look.
So
Look.
it's like a companion. So Final Fantasy 15 is weird. They released it like on every platform possible, but it was slightly different because you were supposed to consume like a movie, a book, a comic book, a manga, the actual game itself, a mobile game, like to get the full story. So all the games have a little bit different piece of the story. So actually, I know what you're talking about, and I've actually been really tempted to play it.
Yeah,
I like Final Fantasy 15.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I've done a lot of mobile gaming, I guess, but I've done a lot of like the paid versions of them. But it's funny because at this point I'm doing all the gotcha games as opposed to the ones that I paid for. Because they're just easier. There's little chunks, whereas like the paid games you have to sit and play for longer. So,
okay,
I don't know.
Well, I'll probably hit you up for some mobile recommendations because every once in a while I go to GameRank's top 10 free mobile games of the month or year or something, and I'll go download a few and then be like, ugh, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I want to game more on my device, but I like don't know what I want out of it because sometimes I just want time killers, but I also don't want them to be formulaic or like require 15 minutes at a time. I don't know.
You should check out Genshin Impact. That's
Probably
the
will.
battles once you get used to it are nice, and it's on PC. I mean, and it's nice because you could play on PC and then play it on the mobile, and it's the same everything. It's cross platform. Yeah.
Is it cross play?
Yeah. Yes, you can play PC to mobile.
Could run 115 FOV, 4K, 144 hertz.
I think you're getting a little overzealous there.
No.
I run my mobile game in 4K.
See, here's Genshin Impact on my phone. Oh wait, it's loading. I gotta load it.
Okay. Oh, we don't have video of this, but Ronan is showing us the screen of Genshin Impact. We really should do video.
Now he's distracted and actually playing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It works. It works good. I mean, so
very cool. I would not have expected a mobile game of that caliber.
Oh yeah. Well, like they've released like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and I think even PlayStation 3 games like on mobile, both Google and Android.
It's super interesting, like how different our play preferences are. Like, y'all are both like, I have never been as hardcore as y'all. Like, one of my friends bought me Dark Souls or whatever, and I nearly threw the thing out the window. Like, I am not that kind of person. But it's really interesting, like how different our stress relief gameplay is, especially like it's really cool, Emiliano, that you have gone from like that really hardcore Demon Souls, Monster Hunter to be like, you know what, I just want to get some gaming in a few minutes on like my mobile Genshin Impact, and that's awesome. Like that's really, really cool.
I mean, it's still gaming, so
kind of what this is my takeaway from the night. One, we're really, really different gamers, which is really cool and very interesting. And it's also really weird that we all met through the same game. Like, considering that all of our tastes are so different, somehow we all ended up meeting each other through the same, like through Destiny, which is really kind of interesting. Because I don't know, that's just weird to me. But
well,
anyway.
I think Destiny has a lot of those different aspects that we like in one. Because it has kind of that, with like raids, it has kind of that, those trial by error things that I kind of like. I know it has PvP, which I know Clint likes, which I don't like at all. And then it has the, the shooting and the missing, which Matt likes. So
I am very good at the missing part. Yeah. So for me, honestly, what drew me in with Destiny was a lot of the story and the supposed RPG mechanics, but we won't go there.
They've gotten better, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, that's really interesting. And I guess like the big thing that's really cool about it is that we have all found some way, especially with all the stress that has gone on the past year and everything like that, and how much of our lives have changed. And like Emiliano, you're a perfect example. We've found a way and we've adjusted our ways to kind of get that release and de-stress through some type of game. I'm a real big believer that you have to have some sort of like way to play or whatever. I know that's a weird way to phrase that, but you've got to have some sort of play in your life, no matter how old you are. So it's really awesome that we all have that and have been able to adjust to it. So, and it's also really cool hearing about it. But I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up our show for this time. So we want to thank everybody who has made it this far into the show with all of our rambling and anything like that. And we want you to reach out to us. Remember, we are online at winningsometimes.com. We do live stream from time to time on Twitch TV at Winning Sometimes Show. I think we're going to be doing that game with the pirates.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. At some point, we're going to be streaming that, hopefully next week or something. We're also on YouTube at Winning Sometimes Show, and we are on Twitter. We actually did make a Twitter, and we do twit from time to time, and it is W Sometimes Show, and that is sometimes and show spelled out, but with just a W in front. So again, we thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.